What's up guys, this is Saiyan here coming at you with another Dead CCG, and this time we are covering Rage, the Werewolf, the Apocalypse trading card game limited edition first starter deck that we've got here. We're gonna unbox this bad boy and we are going to check out some amazing artwork cards that we have in this game that is 24 years old in 2019, will be 25 years old in 2020. Originally created based on the Werewolf, the Apocalypse role-playing game, and this has been the brainchild of Wyrm, a game that only lasted 5 sets in printing. But there is still a massive following, a good community, and they have been revising the rules, they have been creating new cards, new sets. There is a lot of exciting stuff going on even today. You can play it online on Lackey, but as you guys know me, I am mostly interested in the things that I can touch. And so we are going to unbox this starter deck and go through the cards we have in there, and if you guys like this, there can be obviously more videos in this content coming onto this channel here. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So Rage is really cool. The whole idea behind it is that basically you build a deck where you are either a pack of werewolves or you are Wyrm. Wyrm was introduced realistically in the third set, called the Wyrm, where you're basically able to play the dark side, I suppose. The whole idea is that the apocalypse is nigh and the werewolves are trying to stop it. And the Wyrm is trying to destroy everything and obviously embrace the apocalypse. We got loads of different packs. Basically, the characters can transform. They got different, depending on which moon cycle they were born in, they belong to different tribes. We got equipment, different weapons. We've got a whole bunch of different elements to this game. Well, ideally, even though you can play with 2 people, ideally you would like to play with 3, 4. That's where the game really shines, because there is a system where you can moot and basically vote for certain events to whether occur or not to occur. And of course you can make that very interesting, obviously, maybe making deals with your opponents for a couple of turns that you're not going to attack each other and things like that. So it's a really interesting thematic game. And if you look at this, guys, this is 1995, a rulebook from 1995, and it is basically full color. Explains fairly well in what's happening, but if you guys want the most up-to-date rules, you'll have to dig online a little bit. It's available. Again, as I said, the community, with the endorsement of White Wolf, has been basically working on the rules and streamlining them and making them a little bit more, obviously, user-friendly in the 21st century. So in every starter deck, you get 60 cards. But that's not really necessarily going to mean you're going to play with 60 cards, because first of all, if we start with the characters that we find here at the very front, well, some of them we find on the very front at least. We got Passer, we have Virus the Wyrm, what else do we have? True Silver Heels, and then we have a couple of cards that aren't. Of course, some of these cards are stuck together, never opened for 24 years. Jesus Christ, to think about it. Okay, that's 6 of these guys. There probably should be another one, I believe. They normally come with 7. There you go. There's one more. Okay, yes, a Metis, a Ratkin. So, I believe we get 7 characters in every starter deck. So far as I have witnessed, there are 7. Now all these guys, they're double-sided. So if you have a look at Virus the Wyrm, this is her Homid form. She was born to human parents, and she transforms into the Krynos form, either because you play a card or she takes a lot of damage, and that will force her to transform. I think is really cool, and a lot of people may be thinking that Magic was the pioneers of printing double-sided cards. You're wrong. Uh, Rage has done it in 1995. Magic was still, I don't know, probably unlimited. Maybe, yeah, maybe unlimited is where they were about. Arabian Nights maybe was 94, I think. I don't know, 95 was actually quite a busy year in general looking at card games. Okay, this one's passer. So whenever they are in Metis, that basically means that they don't actually gain anything by transforming. Uh, Alamande is also a Metis, so when he transforms, he's exactly the same. Some cards do that. Most cards, obviously, will give you some extra stuff. So if you look at the stats here, Rage 2, Genosis 5, Health 4. He transforms, he gets Rage 6, Genosis 5, Health 8. Top there you can see the renown costs. So that's why I said you're not necessarily going to play with 60 cards. You and your opponent decide what the renown cost is. Let's say you start on 15 renown, so True Silver Heals will give you 7, Passive will give you 1, that's 8. You want to include maybe 8, go for another 7, so we can do 2, and we can do 5. So these would be your starting characters, okay? Because you decided to have a 15 renown cost. And basically, whoever gets to 15 victory points, the victory points basically must equal the renown cost that you choose. That player, obviously, that pack wins the game. Sounds simple? Yes, more or less, but there is more to it. But all the characters are really cool. Obviously, as they change form, they become stronger usually. And some of them may actually get different abilities as well, although not usually cards from the first set. For sure, this is all from the very first set, as I said. Limited, Unlimited is the first set. But just looking at the artwork, guys, I mean, these cards, some of them just look absolutely amazing. Look at that one, for example. Roar of Storms, Shadow Lords, Gellard, Lupus form, and then changes into Krynos form, Roar of Storms. Just really cool looking cards, and especially for the 95. And even the quality is really good. I mean, it's got that glossy finish, which is quite durable in my personal experience. Trademark logoed. Really vibrant colors used for the cards, quite easy to distinguish them. So these are our characters, and then the rest is pretty much mumbo jumbo. It's all put together, but basically we got gift cards, we got rights, more gift, we got events, some cards stuck together, we got more gifts here, another right, another event, you get another gift, event, then you got ally cards that can join your pack basically, and then we got this whole bunch of combat cards which actually are going to form a separate deck. These will be part of your combat deck, and the way to distinguish them is basically looking at the back of the cards. As you can see, this one says Sept right there, and this one says Combat at the bottom there. So your Sept deck and your combat deck will be two different decks. You'll be playing with your Sept deck until you enter combat, then you will put your cards to the side from your Sept hand, and you will draw 5 cards for your combat. And that's where obviously the alphas will start to battle. I talked about voting as well, so we got certain mood cards, which there is a phase where everybody can vote for. All your characters get a vote depending from their renown cost, but you can also use certain cards to give you more, obviously, renown. And basically it's all about you know, coming to a decision whether that is going to happen or not. And of course your opponent votes as well, so there is a possibility that they will try and vote you down if you're trying to do something that they don't necessarily want you to do. We got one action card. I've seen this in all of the starters. Shape Shift. This allows you to basically transform your guy at any time if you play it. We got more event, another different types of moon. I think these starters are like semi-random, because I've seen a shapeshift in all of them. They all have 7 characters, but the rest is somewhat a just you know, whatever fell into the hands of the people packing it, I suppose. Okay, so we got a few more combat cards there. Another moot, another event, another moot. We got an enemy card this time. The enemy cards, some of them look absolutely gross. I mean, just look at that. Artwork's great, but they look absolutely gross. Another right, gift, no equipment yet, which is interesting. Another event goes there, and then we got more combat cards, and we didn't even get a single equipment this time. Just to give you guys an idea of how an equipment looks like. Got one here. This is from set 2, the Umbra. This is Wildstone, so it's an equipment. Basically, the idea is behind these cards that you would normally put the equipment to this side of the card, and then if they get any gifts, that goes on the other side. So you're basically building your cards in a T shape, because all the combat cards, the damage they get will go below them, which is pretty cool. But the only problem is, if you don't exactly know what the card does, you'll be pulling it in and out to see what it does. So if you're not quite sure, if you're new to the game, as I am, you probably want to do it like this. Sacrifice the pictures until you actually learn what's on the card, and you still know what is obviously linked to that particular character. And that will probably make your life a lot easier, just being able to distinguish what extra specialities your specific character may have. So there's quite a few different types of cards. Not all of them are shown here. With the second set, the Umbra, basically sidestepping was introduced, where your characters can actually go into the Umbra, which is the spiritual world, where they will also be able to battle against certain enemies or against each other as well. Basically just gives you another battlefield where you can do some interesting other things that you might not be able to do when you're just down and basically on the hunting ground and going after, obviously, enemies and your opponent's characters in play. For a game that's 1995, 24 years old, as I said, I think it is actually really well thought out, and they have clearly done a lot of testing before they went into it. You can just tell, because the cards are fairly well designed. Certainly for the first set, there aren't too many cards that are overpowered, but the community has released an updated version of some of the really overpowered cards, like an errata take on them, just to make them usable. Thing is, pretty difficult to find cards from the last 2 sets. Not that it's too easy to find anything from the first 3, but they're a little bit more available than the last 2. But definitely check out the website that they got going on. I'll dig it up and put it in the description below, because it's really cool. The artwork's great, and I'm looking forward to dig into this a little bit more and find a little bit more about this game. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and Saiyan signing out. Peace.